Hey, what's going on, everybody? What's going on? So, we are going to do a short stream today. I promised y'all for a stream, so I'm gonna pull through on my promise. So today's stream is just going to be gesture drawing for about a half hour, and I might do a little bit of anatomy, but I want to be off of here probably at the latest by 7:20. More than likely, I'll probably just do the gestures and be done. So, yeah, if y'all have any questions, please feel free to ask. And if you are watching this a little later, I do these streams. I try to do them at least once a week. Sometimes I do them twice a week. This upcoming week, I won't be able to do twice, more than likely. But, all right, let's get started. So, I typically do around like 10 to 15 of these like gestures, and then I go into other things. Just depends on the day, but recently I have been going into more just straight up anatomy work. Torso's not long enough. It's a little better. And the reason why I've been doing more anatomy work the past few weeks is because I am getting close to time for me to start my manga. And I want to be able to memorize all of my anatomical choices and stuff like that. So I've been using time in the stream to make sure I get into that. The first gesture down. Each gesture I spend a minute and a half on. I do volumized gesture. Hey Crimson, how's it going? Appreciate you joining. Hope you're doing well. I do volumized gesture, and that's because I'm trying to work on my mannequin and make sure that it's easy for me to do when I go to do my comic. And I do all of these gestures. All the ones that you're seeing right now are all from reference. When you're doing gesture and stuff like that and you're trying to learn, you do reference. And then when you're trying to memorize, that's when you do imagination. On to the next. I do like a mixture of manga related stuff for my references, and then I also do, and by manga related stuff I mean things that are either panels or works by manga artists, because I just find that to be one of the best ways to learn how to do that stuff. And then I also flip in there some of Mark Brunet's work. The reason why I use his is because I actually find that I learn a little bit better from other people's drawings, and his drawings are some of the more anatomically correct ones. I'm not going to say that they're perfect, because nobody's anatomy is perfect, but His are really good, so I like to use his as a good reference. The positive to using somebody's work is that you get to look at the lines and stuff that they make and see how they simplify things, especially once you really understand the anatomy that you're looking at. A ballet pose. Let me see if I can find a good one. I'll do a fast one really fast for you. Let's do this one. I like this one. So another good rule of thumb is when you are doing your poses, you want to start off, you want to go big to small with what you're drawing. So I always do, I mean, granted, I start with the head, which is one of the smaller parts, but that's just to help me with like directionality and stuff like that. And the head's probably the most important piece for a lot of works, but after that, though, I go immediately to the torso, so I would definitely recommend that. Oh no, eraser's too big. Alright. Alrighty, so this way. Alright, there is a ballet pose. Thank you for the suggestion. I hadn't done one of those before, actually. One correction that I would quickly make with this is this back leg. Oops. Give me 1 second, I'm just gonna snag this other side here. So this back leg, I could probably pull this back a little bit more than I have it. And let me just, that. So there we go. Quick ballet pose. Hey Dee Dee, how's it going? Thank you all for hopping on. Thank you, I appreciate it, Crimson. So back to these. Ballet poses are all super beautiful. It's like incredible what ballerinas can do. It's so like such a difficult pose, but they make it look so graceful and easy. And it just ends up with this the product ends up being just this like really beautiful like pose that looks effortless, but it's also like extraordinarily dynamic. This is a pose from Demon Slayer. This is a Mark Brunet pose. I have been drawing quite a bit today, and like my arm is so sore, which is a good thing, right? Because you want it to be your arm that's sore, not your wrist. But yeah, it's so funny because like it's also because I worked out yesterday as well. But oh man, it's like hard to concentrate. And this leg. So I have a couple of built-in breaks just so I can get a little swig of water, coconut water. Oh boy. Alright, so that is 5. I think this session is going to be 15 or 20, I can't remember, gestures, so with I think 3, so I think it is 15 with 3 1-minute breaks. But so this is what we have so far. Pretty decent start. I think the ballerina one probably came out the best, actually. This is a good pose. Some key aspects. Oh, tell your mom I said thank you so much. Really appreciate that. It's very nice. Some of the key things that you want to think about as you are drawing a more dynamic pose, or like if you're trying to draw from imagination, for instance, is you want to twist as much stuff as you can. And this pose, I might pause for a second after I've completed it, but this pose is a really good example of that. Because you get, but you get like, that goes back, the head is facing one direction, the rib cage is facing another, and then this is facing somewhat similar direction to the head, but still very different. And it creates this like really great dynamism in the drawing. That's why I like this pose so much. I made the legs a little long, but that is, oops, that's nothing that quick scale can't fix. And the next gesture, luckily, is, and I can twist this a bit more actually. The next gesture is luckily pretty simple. All right. So then we get this coming here. And then this light here. I wish YouTube was my day job. No, YouTube is just it's just a hobby right now, I would say. I do really love it. I love interacting with all of y'all. But no, my day job, I'm actually a licensed therapist now because I just got my license and I'm getting ready to get another license too. But that's my day job. I'm a supervisor actually for other therapists. Maybe one day YouTube could be my day job. That would be nice. Just get to hang out with a whole bunch of cool people and talk about art. It's the dream. And welcome to the channel. About handstand pose. Let me see if I can find one in a little bit. Let me check this out. See if I can find one that I like. This one's pretty cool. Alright, so I will quickly do this one. Did I pause? Let's see. Okay. I will say this, like, these kinds of poses are fun to do on occasion, like handstands and stuff like that, but I would recommend, if you're going to practice doing gesture frequently, that you actually not do poses like this in your daily routine, and here's why. You are not going to be drawing this frequently, I would assume, unless you're doing, like, I don't know, like a comic or an anime about, like, the circus, or like characters that are typically doing poses like this. Trying to think of I don't know, like another one could be like you're doing, I wanted to go this way. You're doing a manga about, I don't know. I said circus. What was I just thinking? Oh, like a contortionist or something like that, right? Which, like, kind of falls under the same category as, like, the circus, but you're just not going to, as I struggle, you're not going to be using these kinds of poses too frequently. More than likely, again, just depends. You want to do poses that you are going to practice on a regular basis. Alright, so it's a handstand pose. I do think that this needs to be shrunk down a bit. Actually, I don't want to shrink it. What I want to do is I I want to free transform. Pull that down a bit. And this section needs to be bigger. There we go. Handstand pose. All right. Thank you for that. That was pretty challenging. Different part of my brain being used. It is funky. You are correct. It probably isn't the most accurate pose based on what I was looking at, but whoops. Sorry about that. But it wasn't bad. Again, not something that I practice too frequently. That would be like a pose that I wouldn't do as a gesture drawing, but rather like a study, and take my time. And I also would flip my canvas around and stuff like that, because you're just not used to, like, the body, your brain is not used to seeing things in that angle, so it's harder to draw. Let's get this other leg down. This is going to be the most important. All right. I have not tried animation before. I probably will, like, I think something really cool to do would be, like, if I do, like, a short break for my manga, like, in the future, it would be really cool to, like, animate something from that. I probably will do that way later on down the road, like, a few years from now, just as, like, a challenge to myself. So the perspective of this is kind of like that. So let me... this is going to be here-ish. So yeah, that's wrong. Fix that in a second. Alright, so what I was saying was wrong is this. I don't know why that's not working. So strange. Whoops. And that's better. It's probably my worst one out of the bunch. It's also just not finished. Quick break. Animation would be a lot of fun though. The kind of like professional art that I want to do is I want to do like character concept art at some point for like a video game company or something. That would be really cool. ice skating pose. Let me see if I can find ice skating and ballet are gonna look really similar, I feel. But I will try to find one in just a second for you. Pause this. All right, ice skating. I do like this one a lot. Actually, let's see here. Here we go. Oops, no. There we go. Ice skating pose. That's a pretty nice one too. Spinning in air. I'll maybe do another one right at the end. I do have something I need to try to get to in like 15 minutes, so I'm probably gonna finish up with what I have here. But I do really appreciate the recommendations. It's fun to try some poses I would never really think to try. That would be a good stream one day. Just try to get people in. and just do gestures based off of recommendations. That'd be fun. Sorry. What I ended up doing for this one was I kind of decided to make the pose a little bit more dynamic, and by doing so, I made the legs a little different. Took me a little extra time. How many I have left? I have no idea. I might have to get another page though. This is a Jujutsu Kaisen pose from the manga. And the unfortunate part about this pose is that there's nothing for lower body. But I can see actually, and I just noticed this, in the panel next to it, his legs are kind of spread out like this. I probably could have made this one smaller, and I will. Alright, I don't think I need another sheet. This should be the last batch. Let me see something here. Let me just go to here, see if that'll stop it from changing. Quick drink. All right. Zoom in a little bit. This one is from Fullmetal Alchemist. It's crazy you cannot see the other side of the other arm from this pose. I'll put it in the back. But if I were to draw straight through, that shoulder would be there, and I guess there, yeah. You would not see it. It's crazy. Just made the head a little too small. This pose is relatively simple. I'm gonna just take this one now and center it. This is another, I believe, Jujutsu Kaisen. It's another one where there's no lower body part of the reference, so I'm not going to bother with it for this one because I am short on time. But I will erase away some of the stuff in the middle so it's easier to understand. And to the next one, this is from Dr. Stone. Boichi's work, so beautiful. I really love how it's crazy because manga is really well known for being super simplistic, but like basically like how much can you do with just a few lines, right? And then Boichi just kind of like turns that on top of its head because his stuff is so detailed. Like you can see in some cases like individual muscle fibers and things like that, and it's just like really cool. So his hip is totally facing away from us. So that goes this way. So actually this leg is more than likely moved forward, and then the other leg is back. Alright. Like it's crazy because his Boichi's panels, I think, have more detail than some of, not all of them, his like close-up panels have more detail than some of Mark Brunet's like actual paintings and stuff. Just anatomically, the other stuff, like obviously the rendering and stuff like that, Mark's is gonna have more because it's a painting. He's taking probably 30 times more time on it, but it's just really incredible at what Boichi's able to do in such a short period of time. Because you know they gotta pump those images out, like, you know, you get maybe 30 days to finish about 30 pages a lot of the time, right? So, you know, you're drawing characters in 30 pages, you're probably drawing what, characters about 100 times or more, close to that maybe, 6 panels a page, yeah, 5 panels a page, so it's a lot. This is a little thin for my liking. Alright. Ever tried testing your memory without reference? Yeah, I mean, one of the poses that I do, like, almost daily is this pose. I do this, my imaginative work, I typically do at night right before I go to bed. And I would say, yeah, it is good to draw without reference, but I think people get confused. When artists draw without reference, they're not really learning anything. The only thing that they're really learning, they're learning about their own style and what they're, you know, what they would like to draw in like manga or whatever, right? But when you draw without a reference, you can't really learn too much because there's no input of information. It's all what you think is correct. And I think people get that confused sometimes. Now, there's obviously things that you can learn from drawing without a reference. I'm not saying that. Like you can figure out your workflow a little better and stuff like that. But as far as learning about a specific subject or topic, it's just not going to happen if you're. So that's without a reference. I'll do a couple more without reference. But yeah, there's a lot of time and effort taken into doing these kinds of things where you're doing stuff with just straight from your imagination, and it doesn't really get stated, right? Like, I don't think people do a really good job. People meaning artists who are like pretty well established do a good enough job of telling people like how much effort really goes into being able to draw a pretty realistic figure straight from memory. Like, these things that I'm drawing right now, like they're gonna look not too much different than what you just watched me draw, but I've also drawn these particular like figures probably like 30 or 40 times each. And also, with that being said, I don't even know how many like figures I've drawn even in the past year. I couldn't tell you in the past year. Hey Mike, how do you deal with burnout? So burnout is, I think that typically happens when you're doing something that you don't actually enjoy. Or if I feel myself getting stuck, sometimes what I'll do too is, sorry, I didn't answer you. So when you're doing something you don't enjoy, and that's what's causing your burnout, you need to take a step back and realize, like, okay, why did I start drawing? And then you start to do that thing a little bit more frequently, the thing that you started drawing for. For instance, for me, it's manga. So I experience burnout. Sometimes it's time for me to take a step back and actually go through them, like, and try to create some manga. But for me personally, another time that I experience burnout is when I don't feel like I'm learning anything and I'm getting stuck. So at that point in time, I'll go back to like the courses and stuff I've been taking, and I'll try to like learn something new, and that helps me push forward, because when I'm learning new things, it makes me happy. It's me leveling up. So that's how I deal with it. I don't know if everybody's like similar or not though. Burnout's like a difficult topic. Let me think. What's another one? Ooh, yeah. Do this one really fast. I've done a couple of videos on this, but Mark Brunet's course is incredible. His like art school program. Scott Harris has a really good one as well. It's like called like character creation from imagination or something like that. That one's really, really good too. Those have been helpful for me. Some YouTubers have pretty good stuff too. Like, I really like Mark Crilly's stuff. He always has some like pretty good input. His books are also good. His like how to draw like manga or comic stuff is pretty solid as well. I'm not going to worry about this. I'll probably just cut off here just because I ran out of space at the bottom. Let's do 2 more, and then I'm probably going to hop off. Actually, you know what? I can see how much time I have. Give me 1 second. Just want to check. I think I have some time, so I'll stick around for a bit longer. All right. I can probably do another half hour or so, and then I'll jump off. Let me think here. What's another good pose? Let's do. Also, Chicken Strike, another thing with Burnout. Sometimes you just need to take a small break. A piggyback pose. Alright. That's going to be a little challenging, but... These are really cool. That's a really good one. But anyways, Chicken Strike, what I was going to say is that sometimes you just need to take a little break too, right? Like, I think people get this perception that you just got to push through Burnout, and it's just like, no, sometimes you need to listen to your brain and take a short break. Actually, I'm going to do this one. I really like this pose. Alright. Also, what I'm going to do for this pose too is I'm going to actually create another layer, just because it does involve two characters. And when that happens, you need to do some erasing. Actually, this is what I'm going to do. And I would recommend doing this too. If you have like two characters like interacting in a pose, I would recommend you do each character on a separate layer. And that way, when the time comes, you can just erase away what you don't need anymore. Alright, so now I can... Hey Andrew, how's it going? I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna pull that back a bit. Oops. And then I can erase away some of this. Oops, it's not what I wanted to erase there. I want to erase this stuff. So actually a little bit of the hand here. All of that. Oops, I did forget to finish the that is going to mean some of this gets erased. I'll erase this away too, even though. Alright, I probably should have done 2 different colors. That would have probably... sorry, I don't know if I answered you, Andrew. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. Appreciate you jumping on. How are you doing? Hopefully you've been doing good as well. Yeah, I probably could have done 2 separate layers because it still looks a little messy. So I guess now would be a good time to erase away some of this one. Alright, I can pull that up, erase away a little more here, a little more, and I could probably do a better job with this foot. Erase some of that away. And the last thing I'm going to do actually is I'm going to come in with a thicker line. And just go over some of this that's popping in the front here. Just a little bit, not too much. I guess I could just go ahead and finish that up. All right. And I could probably, let's do this. I will go back over this in blue. There we go. Piggyback. Well, art started going great. Just I have mighty problem. I have problems with time, which might be able to fix with my self-improvement journey, but I just got to be patient, mostly, I believe. Crimson, I think that like I slightly disagree, only because art is a very long process. There's no like, yeah, it's good to push yourself to draw every day, which I do. It's good to like push yourself to learn something as frequently as you can and stuff like that. But I agree with Dee Dee as well. Like, if you don't have fun, you're not going to learn because you're going to stop. So, and I don't disagree with you though. Like, your second point of being too laid back is bad. Yeah, like you can't just like, for instance, this for me, this is like, if I just kept doing this over and over and over and over and over again, which I do a lot of this, I wouldn't learn too much more. Like, gesture is super important, and it is important to continue to practice gesture every day, but at some point, like, I need to do other things too, right? Can't just do gesture. It's not going to help me in the long run. So this, I was like looking at it and I couldn't figure out what was like confusing me, and it was this needs to, his body comes in front right here. And then all right. That was a fun one. Thank you for that, Crimson. That was a good one. Yep. Same with me, Andrew. Like, this stuff to me is like really fun. Like, even doing these gestures. How many from imagination did I do? I did 1, 2, 3. I'd like to do at least 2 more from imagination, and then I will wrap it up for today. Let me think here. I'm trying to think of one of the older ones that I used to do. I don't want to do that one. Yeah, I guess I will. this leg here needs to be in more. So the reason why I just did that is because the center of the head is here. Her heel needs to be around that area, which now it is. It's like close enough. And the reason for that is because this hip is higher, which means the weight is going to be on it, which means that it needs to be closer to the center of mass for the character. Alright. Actually, so this pose ended up being mostly me creating something random. Came out pretty good. Looks like a pose. Looks like a body. One more. Let's try to do like a pose with somebody sitting down. And again, this is going to also be like completely imaginative. Let's put this knee up. I'm gonna move it up a bit. All right, now I can Alright, so I'm going to do the same thing that I kind of did earlier with the piggyback one. Just gonna quickly erase some stuff away, and then also make some of the lines just slightly thicker. So it's pretty obvious like what's in front of what. I think this can be a little flatter. Alright. Quick correction, and then I am actually going to be done. There we go. Cool. Alright, everybody. I think that's going to be it for me for today. I do appreciate all of you hanging out and asking questions, and Crimson, I appreciate the suggestions you had. Help me learn and look at some fun new poses, so I do appreciate that. I hope that y'all have a great rest of your Sunday. I'll probably only be streaming once over the next week, because I'm getting married on this upcoming Saturday, so I won't really have time for more than that. But yeah, I hope that y'all have a great week, and I will see you on the next stream. Peace out.